Okay, we're on to another topic. This is sort of an expansion off the first main tutorial where I didn't cover citizen management. The main reason I didn't was that it's sort of a little bit more advanced topic. The AI, by the way, will automatically assign citizens. So I can tell you when I do speed runs and I just go as quickly as possible. I usually don't even pay attention to it. I'm going as fast as possible. But definitely, it's a good thing to know about. And certainly, if you're playing on a much harder mode, this can come into play. It can be very important. It might make the difference. So, what is citizen management? Okay. Well, if you hover over your city with this cursor here, you can see here we've got, actually, it might even be better just to go to the citizen management uh, tab. Now, to do that, you click on the city and you click on this person. Again, we didn't even do that in the first tutorial. We were talking about city details, purchasing tiles, and I think, I'm sorry, purchasing stuff too. But this is it right here. You hit manage citizens and it will throw you into the view. So as I said, we have one citizen, so we have one citizen available. You always have a citizen over your city, and it's working the city, so that's always the case. Though I guess it's not truly a citizen because you only have one citizen, but that will always be a work tile, and that makes sense. That's your city. So, but one citizen, you get one slot. This means it is a worked tile. The rest of these tiles are producing absolutely nothing right now because there's nothing over them. There's nothing being worked. So, and we can add this up if we go to the city details. So if we click over, well, actually we can yeah, let's do that. So we know that our work tiles right here. We can see that we've got +4 food, and we can add that up, right? Our city is audited by default is worked, so we get 2 food here, and we've got 2 food here. So that tallies up to +4. One citizen will consume 2 food. So you can see where that's that -2. So when we add a city, I'm sorry, when we add a citizen, that will go up to -4. And you can see here, it's telling us we've got 7 turns until a new citizen is born. So this is really where this comes into play, this managing your citizens in terms of the growth of your city. That's actually really the main reason you're doing it, and to shift around things. Maybe you want to shift from food production to more of a production-based economy. So that's the other reason. Those are the 2 main things. You can also shift later on. We're not going to do that here, but just know that when you later on you can shift. You can also shift it to gold. You can see some tiles out here produce gold, right, out in the sea. So if you expand it out there, you could put a citizen over that, and you'd increase your gold. So just keep that in mind. And later on, like I said, you can shift to culture. You can go science. These are mainly when you get this will come into play if you get a campus. You can put multiple citizens in those slots. That's for a much more advanced tutorial. The main thing you're more concerned about early game in terms of citizen management. That gets more important in early game, in my opinion, because you're really trying to grow your city as quickly as possible. As your population increases, like you get up to 30 people, 35, almost all of these slots will be filled. You'll have enough people to fill these over and over again. You'll have probably too many citizens to do for the labor. So again, it's really more important, I think, early on. And again, if you just quickly hover over, by the way, this is kind of interesting to note too. If you don't even have to click on this citizen tab. If you just highlight over the city, it'll tell you where your citizens currently are located. And again, it's just one tile. So again, we can add this up. We can add up where we're getting the food from, and we can see here it adds up to yeah, that's where we're getting it from. Okay, so and then the production, same thing. We're getting 4.1. Okay, so we're getting we're getting some extra. We can actually hover. You can actually hover over these. It'll tell you. So we're getting +2 from the work tiles. We can see that right there. And it's also you get +2 from the palace itself, or actually we're getting +5. So because it's so we're getting we're getting some from the palace here as well. So you can hover over these to see kind of where it's coming from. But the main thing you're worried about is where you're getting, and you can even see we're getting a little bonus because our amenities are okay. Our people are happy. We're getting a little bonus. That also works the same way for the food. Now, if you get in trouble with amenities, and you're not going to get that bonus. Production starts to go down. I think we talked about that in the last video. That can severely start to affect your production. But generally speaking, you like I said, you're going to get bonuses from other places, but mainly in the beginning, you can add these up pretty easily. So two food. That gives us this 4. I kind of wish they had another thing here maybe for production, but in any event, you can do that right here. It's kind of the same thing. You can see we're getting +2 from the palace, and it all adds up, right? It does. Okay, so basically, what we want to look at now is assigning citizens around, changing them. So let's say now obviously the AI is going to try to take the best case scenario, and usually what it's going to do is going to look at this and say, wow, well, okay, we're getting 2 food here, we're getting some production, and we're getting some gold. That's 4 things we're getting. But let's say, and you may do this, like let's say for instance, a more realistic thing would have this at 3 production probably or something. But let's say you needed to. Generally, what I do is especially if you're trying to finish. Actually, let's get a builder going. If you're trying to finish a wonder or something, or you need some quick production, maybe we need to flip that over. So that's what we're going to do. So you simply go hit the. We go back to the managed citizens, and we're going to flip it over here. And there you go. Now we've got, you can see now we've got more production. We've got +3 from work tiles. We went up to 5.2. So it's gonna move a little bit quicker now in terms of how we produce things. But the downside is we lowered our food production. What did that do? Well, now we're up to 14 turns. So just keep that in mind. When you flip to a production-based economy, especially early on, you're slowing down your growth. Now that has a compounding effect because you might, this is one person we could have had out here working, some extra tiles, and we're not doing that now. Now, maybe you just have some low-ranked tiles here, like we kind of do right here. Well, maybe that's not a big deal, but these 2 we definitely want, and even this 3rd one. So we're going to flip that back. Now, it locks it, so we can't click on it. So you have to click on this again and unlock it, and then it moves it back. So there you go. So let's go ahead and we'll end the round. What do we need here? We need mining. So let's go mining first, and we'll just end the round here. And then, the other thing too is when you're purchasing tiles, the main reason is you want to look at a couple factors. Obviously, though, by the way, I did not show this in the first tutorial, but if you click on this map options down here and you hit show yield icons, I usually have this off, but I do turn it. It's good for this tutorial to keep it on because you can see all of the resources. I actually kind of like having this off just because it makes it a little bit more challenging. But anyways, you can turn it on though, especially when you're starting out to see what the yields are. So for instance, this is a pretty good one. If I was going to purchase a tile, it's actually going to grow there in 6 moves anyways, and that's a pretty good one to work because we get 3 production, 1 food. That's not bad. So okay, let's keep going here. And we're going to get this builder going, and we're going to continue to do this. Really nice early. You don't have a lot of AI moving around. So
when you find yourself in a hole,
Okay, so we've got our... Let's also do pottery and then animal husbandry next. But, okay, so we got our builder. So, key here is, obviously we want to boost probably these two tiles. So, all right, so I want to point out that, let's go up here and boost this now. And we're going to see here that this is going to add now 1 production. So this tile became even more valuable, and we picked up the luxury resource like we talked about in the primary video. If I hit this, we've now got 1 + 1 on amenities. Now, what you do notice here is that the housing is becoming an issue. It's now 41 turns until a new citizen, and mainly it's because of this problem right here. So always keep an eye on housing, and that relates to the growth of your city. Obviously, that's going to be a very important thing. So just always keep an eye on that. All right, so we added some production. Now, and we picked up a new citizen, and you can see, look, the AI automatically assigned it over here. Let's go back to manage citizens. The AI automatically said this is the best spot because you're going to increase your production. And basically, like I said, the AI is going to usually take a look and see what is the most value. Well, this has four benefits, right? 1 food, 3 production. Well, that's obviously much better than this. This one might be a little bit, you might say, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, this is 2 behind, but it's going to give me 2 food. And maybe I want to reassign that because I want to increase the growth of my city. I'm more worried about this 41 turns. So let's see what happens if we do that. Let's go over here. We flipped it, and now look, it's 21 turns. And if we fix the housing, it'll be even lower. Now I'm going to put that back because this. Oh wait, no it. Oh, okay. So again, remember it has that lock in place. So I'm going to put that back because I think this actually still is the better arrangement. It's better to try to fix the housing rather than add some food, to try to get your growth going. So let's do that. We're going to create a builder, and the best thing to do here is to add a house, which will give us 0.5 on the 0.5. So let's do that. Let's end this. And let's go over here. And you can see here it's going to offer +1 food, so increase the output of the tile. And it's going to give us the 0.5 housing. So let's hit that there. Now here's the key point. So now this tile became a little bit more valuable, right? Than it might be, I guess you might say it's slightly less valuable, but this now has 3 food and 0.5 housing. Now if we click on the city details again, we're actually at 3.5. I kind of wish they did decimal points, but we're really at 3.5 now. But it's not going to show that until we add another farm, and then it will, well, I realize why they don't, because it's not going to make an effect, because for every citizen, well, let me explain it this way. You need to be 2 above whatever your citizen account is. So we need to keep this at 4. And then if we go to 3, we need to have it at 5. If you don't, you're going to get that, you're going to get problems in the population. So the other thing you may want to consider is when you're doing this sort of management, you may want the growth slowed because it's going to cause problems with if you don't have enough amenities. So keep that in mind too. There's this huge balance going on. If you grow the city too quickly and you don't have enough luxury resources or amenities coming in, people are going to get very unhappy, and that's going to affect, as you can see, a lot production and citizen growth, a lot of other things. So just keep that in mind too. Okay, so but again, that can be tackled through stuff like this, jade and some of these other luxury resources. We got even another luxury resource over here, and maybe we want to expand that out. And that's actually going to bring in some gold. That's another thing. So, you know, you may want to, in fact, let's see if we can buy that tile. Purchase for 75. Okay. And we've got our next builder coming in. So that's good. All right. So let's send him over. Well, actually, let's fix the housing crisis first. We got this other builder coming in. And let's do that. And we're just going to put down a farm here. There we go. We still got our 2 citizens assigned out. That's good in the places they should be. And let's go check out what's going on now. So you know, if you notice something here, I've now got 4. That 0.5. We went from 3.5 to 4, and now the housing is back, and now our growth rate is a little bit better. Now let's say this wouldn't be completely unreasonable to do. Let's say, okay, I know I'm getting an amenity here. Remember, for every 2 people, you need 1 amenity to keep them at least in a normal state. They're happy now because we don't have any. I think you need to start. I think it's 3. I'm sorry. Once you get past 2, that rule starts triggering a little bit. Actually, we'll see how that works. But for every, as I think it's past 2, that starts to take effect. Nonetheless, let's say we wanted to speed up the growth. This is the main point I want to make. So, and this is a good example. So we got this at +3, and this is 4. So we're going to say, let's sacrifice some production right now. I don't have any threats coming in. Let's go ahead and rearrange it now. So let's send this guy over here. Actually, that's good. I'm glad that happened. I want to lock this. So we're going to lock this guy down because I want this one to be the one that so we're going to unlock him, and then we're going to move it over here, and we'll lock it. Now, look at this. Now I only have 7 turns. See how that made a huge difference? And the reason is because we're going to come down and with this extra.
It is not wisdom, but also.
We're going to come down and get that luxury resource. So okay, I'm just going to drag these in. Good. Yes. All right. Didn't I just assign those? I did not hit. Did I not hit confirm? Yes. Okay. Okay, so we're going to send this guy down here. This is a pretty nice benefit here. We're going to get gold. We're going to get production, and we're going to get some food. Up here you can see it's going to be a little bit different for this jade. We're going to get, but that's not bad either. You're going to just pick up free culture. Out here, I think that's faith. I can't see what that is. You can see, though, the sea tiles, by the way, have a lot of gold. A lot of gold. So that's why it's always good. And if you do whaling and some of those other things, it can just be massive amount of gold. Going out to the sea, very, very important. But I'm getting off topic here. Let's get our...
No man ever wetted...
Let's get the... I think we want to get the granary. Now that's an important one. Yes. +1 food, +2 housing. That's another way to get that going. We're not worried about trees right now. We're talking about citizen management, and that's the key, the thing we're talking about in this video. Okay, so let's get this guy down here, and let's run him all the way down here, and let's just build something. Well, we'll build the granary because we need to get that going. All right, we just expanded into there. And should be getting close to our next... Well, we're 28. What happened? Oh. We did go... I'm sorry. We did add our 3rd citizen. And I wasn't even paying attention. But there you can see it automatically. Put it in the right area. And that's, again, that's the key. Put it over here. And that's a good move, right? We want that extra production. Pretty darn good move. So the AI did a good thing. But you see we expanded our guy pretty quick, but it comes at a cost. Now we've got a housing problem, so it's going to slow down. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's get this luxury and amenity going. So we're going to get that going. Now, let's see. Yes, look at that. It reassigned it. The AI reassigned it and said, this is more important. because we want the boost in gold. And this just offers a lot more. 2 production and 2 food. And let's see what happened to our city growth rate with the extra food. Now it's 18 turns. Now, let's say I want to go back and I want more production. I would not do that, but let's just say we go off of here. You can see here, we lost some gold now too. It's a huge loss. I mean, obviously we're going to flip that back. We're back to 8.3. And, you know, I mean, it's just worth it. Okay. All right. So there we go. Yeah. So that's good. So that is the basic how citizen management works. I think you should have a much better idea of it now. There is one final point I want to make, is that this farm right here, for instance, it's a non-worked farm. We are not getting the benefits of this food or production. That doesn't really matter though, because we're not, this doesn't really offer a lot for us. What it is giving us though is the 0.5 housing. So I guess the point is, you don't have to, even if you don't have a citizen over a non-worked farm, you are still getting the benefits of the house. You don't lose that. You don't have to have a citizen over it to get that benefit. And you can see that, right? We've got, you know, you can see that that's the case. These 2 farms here are not, or well, this one is work, so, but this one isn't, but we're still getting that 0.5 benefit of the housing. So that's important to know. I mean, so that's the thing. Farms are not, if non-worked farms are not going to add much, but they will give you, if you are, you know, you're really trying to expand that, your housing and grow your population, they certainly still serve a purpose, even if they're non-worked. So there you go. That's how citizen management at a very basic level works. As you go deeper into the game, you can. By the way, one thing you can do is you can flip these here, and I believe what this does is it will try to. I think what you're doing, I don't do this a lot, but I believe what you're saying is, hey, shift this more to a food-based economy. I believe that's what that's doing. And if we flip this off, yeah, you can see it did it. So if I don't do this much, but you can say, okay, make this more production. You can see it flipped, the AI flipped it over here. See that? Flipped it over here. Now if I turn this off, it goes back to where it should be. I don't do this a lot, but it might be useful later on. One thing I do want to say about food is if you've grown your city, it's pretty I mean, you are eventually going to hit a housing limit, and it will stunt your growth. So the food becomes less important. As long as you're in the plus, you're fine. And you might just say, hey, give me as much production as I can get now. I don't really care about growing the city anymore. I've got 35 people. That's enough. Now I want to just get everything geared toward production. That's kind of when this gets useful. Now, one other thing though on that point. Let's go back here. So you always want to have a surplus of food, or at least a little bit. If you're at 0, you're okay, but that's kind of cutting it close. I usually like to keep a little bit of a surplus. The reason being, if you go into the minus, you will start to lose population. Your number will start to decrease. That makes sense. People start to starve. Yeah, you're going to lose some population. Housing, the only negative is your population growth rate will slow down, but it's not going to remove population. You're just not going to have people moving in, and the growth rate, and that makes sense. Less housing, you're going to have less of a growth rate. I mean, that makes perfect sense, but you're not going to lose the existing people who live in their houses. They'll be fine. So that's kind of the way that works. You're not going to, the only penalty here is I'm just stunting my growth, but this is much more worse if you go into the minus. So the food at all costs needs to be at 0. At a minimum, you need to be breaking even, but generally, speaking, I like to keep it a little bit above so that you don't stunt, so your citizens don't start dying. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful.